Hey guys, so welcome back to my coffee and conversations. Literally, sometimes you're conversating with me, okay? Some days you're gonna be conversating with me and a couple special guests, maybe one special guest. I'll constantly be changing that up because I think it's interesting to always hear different perspectives from different women, and it makes it more relatable and just a good time, you know? Who doesn't love coffee and who doesn't love conversation? So anyway, today you got me, and I like to check in from like an honest place, and I wanna share a tough decision I had to make and why I made it. So obviously, like, the Beyoncé dropping her album was, a big deal. Beyonce saying that she was going on tour was a big deal. I've always been a big Beyonce fan, and I just needed to make a few changes, and this is why, okay? I've never been a follower. I've never gone with like, oh, well, this is what everyone's doing. This is what the group's doing. This is what the family, anybody. Like, I always like to do what I really feel led to do. When I say led, I mean I pray about it and I then move from there. So I have a quick story time, right? The backdrop before all of this occurred, this is all real. Like, it is over a period of time. I would literally be talking to my sister, and I would be like sending her stuff about Beyonce all the time because she's fabulous, which she is. I'm not taking that away from her or anything like that. And my sister would always be like, yeah, but she practiced witchcraft. And I'm like, you know what? You just don't understand. You don't understand her music. She's an artist. Even though, low key, I've heard her say a lot of different things about a lot of different gods, about charging crystals, about not being able to serve God because you busy twerking or whatever. I mean, like, so many interesting things that I've heard through her music, and I just liked Beyonce so much, and I still think she's a fabulous woman and a Black woman, so don't get me wrong, but there's things that just don't add up, and this is why I want to talk about this. And the most interesting part about all of this, I just sat down to film this and the camera went off like immediately. So I'm gonna try this again, okay? Here's what I wanted to share, and here's why I decided why I told my husband I think I need to resell these tickets. So over time, I would invite like my other friends. So when we first found out like she was coming, we were asking some of our other friends who are even married and stuff, like, do you guys want to go? To Beyonce. They're kind of like, we don't really know like some of her lyrics and some of the things she's about. Like, most of my friends are Christian, but some of them aren't. And I'm like, oh, okay, I respect that. But I'm like thinking to myself, like, like, it's not a big deal. I just kept going back and forth with it in my head. So here's the story time. Like, my husband is so sweet. He comes in, he surprises me like, oh, I got you Beyonce tickets. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so nice, which is really how I really am. Like, even if I didn't like something, I would never really he could tell because he knows me, but I just never want him to feel like I don't appreciate something he does for me because I appreciate him. And so I'm like so happy, talking to him about it. But like, something inside of me was just like, girl, you can't go. And I'm like, Jesus, don't have me do my man like this. Like, do not. That's what I was really thinking. Like, do not have me do my man like this. And I'm just like, okay, like, what is going on? So I didn't say nothing. I just went with a thank you. I appreciate you. But like, something just felt so off. And when I was alone, I had some time to talk to God. And I don't talk to God like how, like, a beam in the sky and it has to be this big deal. Like, I talk to him like my dad who knows me. And I'm like, so what's up, Lord? Like, what, Dad, like, I feel like you don't want me to go. Like, what was that? What was that in my spirit that I was feeling? Like, I felt like it was like conviction, and I also felt like not led to go. And I'm like, am I right? Like, what's wrong? And he led me, like, literally, some of the girls in my Bible study had sent me this clip about Tiffany Montgomery, who's a prophetess, who I do follow, who I listen to often, like, about Beyonce. And none of them knew at the time that I was going to Beyonce. And it's not a secret or nothing. I just wasn't sure about it. And she was talking about how Beyonce practices witchcraft, which I've heard a lot of things in her music that also made me wonder. And she also spoke about in a coven, which is different. With Christians, we're in covenant with Christ. We're in a group together with Christ, right? But like in witchcraft, the enemy has to twist it. So it's like they're in a coven, and that's normally like 7 to 10 max amount of people who practice witchcraft, right? And if you have a number that like supersedes the small typical group, then that is considered a hive. I never knew this. I actually stopped the video clip to see if this was true because I don't go off what anyone else says. I always have to find it, read it for myself, pray about it, get an answer. Like, I'm that type of like studier. And so it was true. So I was looking up like different like witchcraft covens, and basically like how if you supersede that number, it is called a hive. And I thought about how Beyonce's group, that, you know, her fan base is called Beehive. I'm like, what a great way to trick people. What a great way to leave people ignorant if this is correct, you know? So I'm praying about it, and I'm like, Lord, just tell me, like, if you don't want me to go, I'll make a hard decision. I'll just tell him the truth. Like, you know, if you have to go without me, like, no judgment. Cause I was a big fan. So it's like, I don't want to like be weird now. You know what I mean? I'm just like, all right, if I can't go, like, I can't go. And he's like, you can't go. Like, because it's a doorway and it's an entryway to get people to not realize the truth about some of these practices, about some of these lyrics. The song Church Girl came on the day that album dropped, and my husband and I are listening to it, and I jumped up out of bed and I was like, turn this off. Like, what? Like, what is she saying? Like, it was so catchy. The beat was so good, but then the lyrics came and I was like alarmed. As a Christian woman, I was alarmed, but I also do listen to secular music. I do listen to rap music. I do listen to all music. I'm not like a person who doesn't listen to all music, but what's happened over time is I can't listen to all music. Like, if I hear something that's just too off, referencing suicide, referencing like blasphemy, or, you know, just not giving God any respect, or a lot of songs that talk about I'm on demon time, they demons, and I'm like, oh no, I ain't singing that, because like the power of life and death is in the tongue. Whatever you say is what you'll have. So I'm somewhat of a conscious music fan. So I had to hit my husband up, and I was nervous because, I mean, honestly, he's not even like that. I just don't like to not feel like like for him to feel like I'm not appreciating something, you know? So I was just like, hey, like, it's just so weird. Like, I promise you, it's the stuff you have to do when you walk with Christ sometimes low-key be weird, but it will actually save you in the long end if you listen to the Holy Spirit and you don't walk ignorant, and you won't open up doors unknowingly into your life for evil to come in, because there's already enough stuff on the day-to-day that we're fighting, good and evil, day to day. Just because we're in the natural, everyone's so blinded on thinking, oh, good things happen, bad things happen. No, we are spirit beings having a spiritual experience. We happen to be in the natural. So it is a constant war between good and evil, portals, doorways, and things we open up and open ourselves up to. Now, if she's practicing witchcraft and she goes in there and they've performed and they got the atmosphere right, and then I come in and I'm singing along, I am now a part of what she's facilitating, and that's really not what I believe. So this is a personal message. Don't start sending me y'all's crazy text messages. I already saw the crazy messages on Instagram. I don't care what you think. But what I'm saying is, for me, it's important that I am in good standing with God, and I'm in a new journey, and I'm okay with making tough decisions. And when I called my husband, or I talked to my husband about it, I was like, okay, I got to make a tough decision. Like, the Lord is just like, nah, like, it's a no for me. But, you know, like, I appreciate this so much. I'm like, but you can just resell them to someone else. Like, I don't think I'm supposed to be there. And he was totally understanding, and he was totally like in support of me and what is right, you know? And he's like, yeah, no, like, you know, he's not like, you know, as into certain things as I am, but he's also like not ignorant, and he knows the Lord, and he knows that God talks to me just as much as he talks to him. So I'm just like, I don't want to play games with him. Like, if you don't have like peace about me going, I'm just not going. So I wanted to share that, not to come on here and condemn or judge anyone who's going, but I definitely want to urge you to really look into some of the artists that you listen to. Like, for example, Summer Walker. I went on her Instagram and I saw that she worships like false gods, demonic gods, that she builds those like shrines, and she worships them, and that is what she's about. And she's very bold about the type of God she serves and how she's moving. And so many people, even Christian people, are like under her comments liking it. And it's not a judgment. It's a level of awareness that I want us to have, because we are compromising certain beliefs. If we're like, yeah, I believe God, I'm a follower of Jesus Christ, but it's like, yeah, but I also know this lady's a witch, but I'm about to come to her concert and let her open up whatever she's going to open up, and I'm going to leave feeling good because we danced all night. And it's like, no, I've walked ignorantly, like in so many parts of my life where I just did stuff and I didn't fully think it through. I wasn't asking God, like, do you have peace about me going here or there? And I opened up all kind of doorways that didn't necessarily need to be opened. And my daughters are very conscious now because I'm conscious, and I talk to them about, what do you listen to? What are you saying? The power of life and death is in your tongue, and we are just walking really ignorant at times. So I thought it was something important to just bring awareness about. There was a lot of controversy on the way she delivered it and how she said it, and I think all of that is just like, chew the meat, spit out the bones. Make sure you have peace and the Lord is permitting you to go, and that the people you follow are worthy of being followed. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. And to kind of tie this all together, I'm just in a place of making hard decisions. Excuse me. Hard decisions are necessary. Most of my life, if you guys have followed me ever on Girl Gang, I have been a people pleaser. So this is a very new territory for me with, not people pleasing anymore and making hard decisions. But for me, at this place I'm at in my life, I'm not willing to sit with anyone that I don't have peace about anymore. I'm not willing to go places that I don't have peace about anymore. I'm not willing to be in relationship with people in a way that doesn't look godly if the Lord has called me away from that. Like, I'm just not willing. Like, I think it's dangerous. I think it's ignorant to act like Satan isn't waiting for us to just get into things we have no business in just so we can see how things play out. Like, I'm not willing to risk that. I've done that so much most of my life. Not until literally this year have I said, oh, whoa, no. When I'm with you, I feel not good. When you call me, I want to not really answer. When I could go to that concert, but I'm going to be really nervous about what I just let speak over me. Why? Why are you doing that? Like, no, God didn't come to be fluffy, and people want everything to be fluffy, but God can separate. He came to bring the sword. Like, it's going to look black or white. Some things there, I can even tie it into scripture, because in Revelations 3, verse 15, it says, I know your works. You are neither cold nor hot. I wish you were cold or hot. So because you are lukewarm and neither hot nor cold, I am going to vomit you out of my mouth. What is that saying? At some point, you have to make a decision. At some point, the gray areas for us as Christians, come on, baby, you got to do better. You've seen enough, you know enough. And when God is saying it's time to do something different now, people are going to judge you. They're going to persecute you. They will go through your past and they'll say, I remember when, and I know that you used to do this and you do that, but none of that will even matter when you start this new journey of saying, I'm only pursuing what I have peace about and where Christ leads me. It is a life-changing and very transformative thing that comes with a big cost, because I do low-key probably be looking crazy to these people, but they just don't know no better. And I do. So as a Christian, I feel like I have I'm mandated to say truth. So I'm going to say truth, even if it shake things up. I'm going to do me, even if people don't agree. And I'm going to tell the truth, but that also comes with the level of separation. But it's worth it to me because souls are at stake. And I think this is just a season where we're going to have to make some hard decisions. And I wanted to share that little story time with you guys today. Next week, we'll have a special guest and we will open up conversation a little bit more with some different topics. But I just wanted to let you guys know where I was at with that. And I love you guys. I will talk to you later.